Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained. This is episode 15 and this is my upcoming video schedule. So for about the next 2 weeks, I'm planning on releasing several videos and try to get caught up with with my videoing and my gaming because it's been quite hectic last 7 to 10 days. And so I know I've been away for a little bit, so I wanted to, get back into the swing of things. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm planning on just going through, and these are not going to get posted in any particular order. Although it is kind of my priority, some of them. So first and foremost is I'm hoping to run the final episode of Fair Winds and Bloody Shores. That's an adventure I've been running for the Mifrog role playing game, and we're up to episode 3, and that episode should actually finish up the adventure. So I'm hoping to get that done hopefully by this weekend. Next is I've been reading a book series. All right, and the book series is Paganism Explained. There's currently 3 books in this series. I just finished reading the very beginning portion of part 3 of the series, and this series here. Once I finish completing the 3rd book, and then I'm going to go back and dig through the first 2 books again and try to create a cohesive review of the 3 books. Probably the last year and a half or so, I've gained a lot of interest in European paganism, and these books have really helped in understanding at least one person's view. Somebody who has a lot more knowledge in the area than I did. Actually, I should say 2 people. So it's Varge Vilkernes and Marie Cachette, and those 2 authors have really produced an interesting and easy to understand view of paganism. So I've been getting into that, and it does tie into the game setting of of Mifrog, and that's one of my favorite RPGs. Probably as of the tabletop games, probably my favorite system of RPGs. So going to continue reading these, and like I said, once I get it all put together, in my mind, and I'll do a cohesive review of the book series. Moving on. I've been acquiring a lot of basic sets of the basic starter sets for various RPGs, and I just recently picked up Dungeon Crawl Classics, and as you can see, it's a quite thick volume, and I have not at all gotten into beginning reading it yet. So where I take this game, probably be someplace in the next couple of months, and maybe I'll throw an adventure together or 2 and run the system over the next couple of months. But what I was really interested in doing was I got this Kickstarter. It's The Ice Kingdoms, and it was written by C.S. Barnhart, Chris Lights, and James M. Ward, and it's a campaign setting that you can use in you can use any fantasy role playing system in this setting without having to do very much tweaking at all. And so I was most likely going to take one of those beginner sets, whether it be Pathfinder or or this Dungeon Crawl or one of my other sets, and create an adventure and run it through using the various game sets that I do have. See which one actually fits it the best. Now, next is I just recently started a writing project, and kind of inspired by, this is it was the International Day of the Women a couple days ago, or sometime earlier on in the week, and I started thinking to myself, it's been quite a while since I've role played a female character, and so I have several different themes that I was working on, and the last time I played a female character, I played a female character in Star Wars: The Old Republic, the MMO, and I played a female Sith character and ran that character up to, at the time, I believe the maximum level at that time was 50. I believe it's 55 now, and really enjoyed it, and enjoyed playing that, at least what I perceived was that perspective. And what I'm going to do is I created a female character for Robert E. Howard's Conan Adventures in an Age Undreamed Of, using the 2D20 system produced by Modifius. And so I made the character up for that game. And using Conan Exiles, I actually kind of visualized the character and what she would look like in that game, and started to build the character up. And what I'll try to do is I'll try to mirror what the character develops as in the tabletop role-playing game and setting, in the video game setting, and try to match it out as best I can, and kind of create a storytelling vehicle between both games working together, and then based on the experiences of the character in the two different games, then bring it down to paper and writing a few short stories. When I write for my characters, I usually write anywhere from a couple of paragraphs to several pages. Very, very few complete stories, but a lot of almost like excerpts of little story snippets about my characters. And so that's something that I'll be working on over the next couple of weeks, and maybe someday I'll actually write a full-length short story for a character. Moving on, I'm going to jump to my video game captures. So I was running a series of video game captures of Star Wars: The Old Republic, and showing it through the gameplay of a Jedi Knight that was making dark side choices. And so on the starter planet of Tython, I was running him through and trying to make as many dark side choices as I was able to do. He's around 10th or 12th level right now, and so he's approaching the point where he's almost ready to get off of the first planet. So I'm going to finish up that character and probably finish up that series of videos. Also, I'm going to include some video capture of Conan Exiles. I know the game is supposed to come out of beta testing and go into launch, I believe, in May. So whatever I show now will just be, just kind of a brief showing of the game itself, and then I'll wipe everything and restart over when the game actually officially launches. One final video game capture that I'm thinking of doing is World of Warcraft. I haven't done anything on World of Warcraft, and to be honest with you, I haven't played World of Warcraft in probably about 4 or 5 years. And at that time, I only played it for, probably a couple of hours. And then I set it aside. I originally played the game when it was first in beta and when it released, and I played it for about 6 months, certainly before the first expansion. So it's been a long time since I put, any real amount of time into the game, and so since my YouTube channel is dedicated to, all forms of RPGs, video game RPGs, or battle card games. Well, actually, Hearthstone is a battle card game based on World of Warcraft. So, and I will be doing a video capture of that probably later on this afternoon. So, so Warcraft, I think, is something that I should display and put on my channel so that anybody interested can take a look at it. Finally, there's a project that I backed. It's a Kickstarter project. I'm just going to pop up the name of it here so you can see. And it's created by Ian F. White, and his Kickstarter is Heroic Tales of a Glencoe. It's a, I would categorize it as a low fantasy RPG in a setting that he created himself. I actually play tested this game, I believe, in 2 game sessions, and really enjoyed it. And it's something that I'm very anxious to. I backed it this time around, and there's still a couple of. I just double checked. There's still a few early bird specials for the game, and it's its packaging. It's higher packaging at I believe it's €40, and so which is not unreasonable price for a game system and a game setting and everything contained in one book, and so that's something that I suggest that you at least take a look at. Take a look at his Facebook page for the game itself under the same title, and so give it a look. See, it looks and it looks like a good game, and it played well when I play tested it. So I encourage you to take a look at that. So other than that, I'm going to wrap this up, but as always, happy gaming. I look forward to putting up some videos in the next couple of hours, and then in the next couple of weeks. And once that April break comes around, then there'll be a lot more gameplay that's posted up, some tabletop gameplay, and certainly video game captures during the upcoming time period. So again, happy gaming. Have a good afternoon.